Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Influenced by Kim. I'm your host, Hofit Kim Cohen Meyers, and I am so excited to have you here. And I am even more excited about the fact that it's 1:30 a.m. And, I've always been a night owl. This is where the world goes to sleep. The veil is thinner, and I just get downloads and ideas and inspirations and thoughts. And a lot of my downloads come around the nighttime. Um, and I just love the fact that I started this podcast because I get so many freaking cool ideas and just thoughts in the middle of the night. And then obviously if I was just doing this on YouTube, I would obviously have to do my makeup and my hair and all these things, and I'd have to wait till tomorrow, and it just wouldn't come as a flow. So I am having a moment right now where I'm really grateful that I even started this journey, because as I get ideas and thoughts and things there's just things that come to me that I'm like, wow, this can be really powerful and helpful for so many people. And without further ado, I kind of want to dive into something that I just encountered, something that just happened, and it kind of made me go, it was interesting. So as I'm starting this podcasting journey, a lot of times, like I mentioned in episode 1, the universe nudged at me, told me, girl, just do this. And that's the thing about life. You don't need to always figure out all the details in the beginning. I feel like sometimes there are certain things that I do in my life where I have to figure out all the details before I start. And I kind of get distracted and obsessive over all the details and making sure everything's perfect because I am a perfectionist. And other times I'm just like, fuck it. And I do what I do, and I just figure it out as I go along. And a lot of times it ends up being the best way. So with all of that being said, as I'm learning, it hasn't even been a week since I've been doing this, but I've already, I think, recorded 7 episodes or 6. Don't mind me as I blow up your life with knowledge and downloads. But, I'm still figuring out editing softwares and how to I don't know, put this up, and mics and sounds and all the boring things that are just so technical that I'm like, ugh, what do I have to do? Why do I even have to deal with this? Even though I love it secretly. So this is what happened. This actually all ties in with what I want to talk about. So I downloaded a bunch of different programs for this podcast. Different hosting, different platforms that looked good. Basically, I downloaded 3. Some looked good, and then once I was in the back end, I'm like, no, not this one. And then I went to a different one, and then I went to a different one, and I've been just testing out all these things, and doing a lot of research and things. And I used this new software to listen to my sound. It basically cuts off background noise and little, things in the background. So I had used this technology, this editor software, and then I had uploaded my episode, and I wanted to hear on my phone versus my computer versus my headphones. I do not use AirPods. They use your brain as an antenna, and they give you high levels of radiation. Don't do that. Look that up. It's insane. So I wanted to hear what it actually sounds like on headphones, on speaker, and all the things, and if I actually sound like me. And it all sounded different. It kind of tripped me out, and I was trying to see is this even technology? Does it actually matter? Can I just do my own thing? Anyways, so I was testing it out, how it sounded before, how it sounds now. Does it make an actual difference? And then I essentially was like, okay, I'm just going to go to someone that I know that has a podcast, and I'm just going to hit play. I want to see if it sounds anything like this. Someone that I know is really professional. It's a friend of mine. And I had just clicked on a random episode of hers. Just fast forward. I don't even know. I just clicked in the middle. I just wanted to hear the girl part, because it was a 2 people thing. And as I heard it, it actually did not sound like mine, but it just... something happened for a moment where I tapped. It was a blast from the past. It was I all of a sudden became the 10-year-old me or something. I think I was 10, maybe I was 12, potentially 12. I want to say merging into teenager/teenager. Okay, so maybe I was 13, 14 into 17. So like 12 to 17 years old, little Miss Cohen Meyers. Not, but I was a Cohen then. And yeah, I actually really do remember this. So I was going through puberty or whatever. I hate that word also. I don't know why it makes me cringe, but I remember like when I was younger, I hated my voice. I literally hated the way that I sounded. First of all, the way that you sound, okay, so when I'm talking right now, the way that I'm hearing myself is actually really different than how others actually hear me, which the first time I discovered that, it tripped me out. And then it tripped me out like a few times after that. You should try it. It's wild. I think that's why a lot of people sometimes are not comfortable like recording themselves or stuff like that. But I remember very distinctly that I hated my speaking voice. I hated how it sounded. I was also later on really into singing, and I sang for most of my life and always wanted to be a famous singer. And singing in auditions was one thing, but then when I actually went to a recording studio and I recorded a song and then I heard it, I wanted to die. Actually, that was in my there's vocal lessons tapes, which sounded one way, and then there was actually a recording studio. I just wanted to die. I was so embarrassed. I was so disgusted with how my voice sounded, and it's so effed up to even say that. Like, I just want to hug my younger self for all of that bullying that I did to her. The weird thing too is that my voice sounds very different in English versus when I speak Hebrew. When I speak Hebrew, I just come off, maybe it's the language. I've always tried to figure this out. My voice is softer and more gentle and really feminine and just different. In English, I feel like my voice is very aggressive, intense, aggressive, all the things. And I just essentially, since I was little, I hated my speaking voice. I wish I could change it. I did try to change it. I would like middle school, I guess we can say like 7th grade. I would like try to speak in a different voice because I really did not. I was like disgusted by my voice. It's like so sad, but it's true. And I just remember like wishing that my voice sounded different. I wish that I sounded more gentle. I wish that I sounded more pretty, like more graceful, like actually the tone, the vibration of my voice. I really desired that as a child. I don't know. I don't know what it is, you guys. I really don't know what it is, but it was like a very big insecurity of mine. And I got over it over the years of endless practicing and endless, recording things in recording studios, being on TV, doing YouTube. Even YouTube, though, like when I first started, I was so effing shy. Oh my goodness. Like it was so weird for me to hear myself and film myself and like, oh my God, all the weird vibes. I know that most people don't believe that when they hear me, they're like, girl, what? Yeah, true story. I think that what really gave me confidence with my voice and speaking on camera and all the things was actually like when Snapchat started. I was so into Snapchat and it just YouTube and Snapchat. So I've been an influencer for 11 years. So I've been doing this for a really long time. But over the years, I just was like, I just surrendered. Like, what the hell else am I going to do? I tried speaking in a voice that was not mine. That was very hard to maintain. But I remember like even like researching videos about like, how do you change your voice? And then I like watched or read that like if you speak a certain way for a long time, then like you could actually change your vocal cord, but you have to do like all these exercises, which were so exhausting. I did attempt to do them. But like, oh my God, crazy stuff. And so here I am now, many years later, and I just clicked this like random podcast of a friend of mine who is such a beautiful, beautiful, spiritual, gentle soul. Like she is just angelic. She's like a freaking angel. She's so feminine and gentle and all the things. And I just heard her voice and like for a moment I was like, wow, I wish I sounded like that. Like, why am I so aggressive? It's like, it's who I am. And then I just had this moment where I tapped into my younger self and that insecurity. And I was like, wow, like, first of all, I haven't said that in so many like years, like decades, where I was like, where I didn't think like, I wish I had so and so's voice or I had a softer voice. I really, really, really wanted that. Like, it's almost like this like shadow that I don't know, this like part of my, it's something that like I totally forgot existed, that I felt so insecure about growing up for many years. And now with like, my knowledge, my endless knowledge, and the knowledge comes from life experience and endless experiences and learning what's actually important, what's not important, what actually matters, what doesn't, all the things that I've learned about the mind and the soul and our experiences here on earth and our missions here on earth and like, yeah, all of that. I had that thought, but it didn't actually come out of envy or jealous. It was like, her voice is so beautiful. Like, why can't I just sound like that? And I just kind of laughed and like moved on. But then I was like, you know what? Hold on. Like, and then I thought of my younger self. And then I was like, hold on, like, let's talk about this. Because it wasn't just the voice, but it was actually also the topic of her podcast and what she was talking about. So it was like both. And now when I really think about it, I think it was like more also what she was talking about. And I was listening to her mesmerized and I was like, wow, like I would love to have these kinds of conversations on my podcast. And maybe I will one day in the future. But like the openness of that conversation that was happening, it was a topic that's really, 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 really out there. And it was just talked about so beautifully, so casually, so high vibrationally. It was a discussion between two people. And I was like, wow, I wish I can do that. But if I did, people would think I'm completely freaking crazy. Not that I really, really care, but like, I feel like it would just be so like out there. But like when I hear these two individuals talking on the podcast, I'm like, wow, like these are my star family. These are my types of people. Like, I just want to hang out with people like this all day and just have conversations like this all day. And thinking about her soft voice, thinking about my aggressive voice, thinking about the things that I talk about, thinking about the things that she talks about, which are not that far from each other, FYI. It's like we all have our own journey, you guys. And that's like the point that I'm trying to make here. What I've learned through the years is it's like this beautiful soul that I'm talking about, she is on her own journey with her own mission, with her own path, with her own like soul contract and, dreams and like, yeah, like ultimately like mission. Like she came here to earth for her own mission. And like with that, she was also gifted certain things, certain gifts to help her achieve what she set out here to do. And at the same time, so was I. And so were you, right? So it's like when I think at my life, when I think of like just life, I used to be so shy and I was so soft spoken. And people used to always tell me like, speak up, I can't hear you. And I would be so shy, so introverted, Jesus Christ. And it's just so wild, like who I am today and what I've become. And I know that like I was always meant to be her, this girl here in the now, helping people, inspiring people, moving people, sharing myself, being vulnerable, talking about the things that people don't think about or don't want to talk about or uncomfortable speaking about, doing the shadow work, doing, like the nitty gritty, like just going into the nitty gritty and like cleaning up all that leaky energy that a lot of times like stops us from like living our full potential. And one of the things that I learned about life is that normally when you're meant to be something, God gives you, like you're born with like the complete opposite of that. Okay. So like, let's say that my soul mission is to one day be like Tony Robbins, right? If I was already born with the Tony Robbins, like personality type, and I was like really outspoken and just like since I was a kid, like I don't know, like I know life and I know humans and I've tracked so many humans and their progression in life and their process and their like journey. And it just wouldn't hit the same. It just would not. It just would not. What I mean is that, like, it's not about just, being able to talk and be extroverted. There's a lot of things that come, like, within the Tony Robbins, what do I want to call it? Like, archetype. There is like a level of confidence. There's a level of vulnerability. There's a level of empathy. And it's like he had to go through all these things in life in order to become Tony Robbins. He had to go through so much shit, so many things. And it's like a lot of times God, the universe, whatever you believe in, you're normally born with the polar opposite. And then through like the journey of life, you like become it. And it's like without the struggle, you wouldn't cherish it. You wouldn't like value it. You wouldn't become who you are today. And it's all part of like coming here to earth. Like growing up, I was so shy, like I said, and super introverted and super misunderstood. And literally at the age of 3, I literally forgot how to speak, you guys. True story. When my brother was born and we moved away from home, I forgot how to speak. I would mumble. Like I was like Moses. Okay, like I mumbled. I forgot words, even though I like was like when I was a baby, I like surpassed like all whatever normal stuff is. Like if most kids by the age of 1 know 10 words, like I knew like 100. If most kids by the age of 1 can like walk, like I can walk at like 8 months, right? And so I was like such an overachiever from a really young age, and then it just stopped, and like I literally forgot how to speak, and my mom would get really mad at me. She would yell at me. She would punish me. She'd think that I'm like doing it to get attention, but like I literally forgot how to speak. Then I moved to America and I didn't know English. So way to go on bullying and not being able to express myself. And I was just always misunderstood, and I was just never able to express myself. And I just stayed quiet and quiet and quiet and quiet and bullied and punished and yelled at. It just until one day it just just went the other way. I just had enough of everyone's shit. But it was a sequence of events that happened through my life to build the strong characteristic, this almost very extroverted, although I am very introverted, human that's outspoken, that's opinionated. I would have never become this opinionated, standing up for justice. Like if we are somewhere, anywhere, you guys, and like someone is in need of help, like I will stop, like everyone knows this, I will stop the car, I will get out, I don't care if it's a stranger, I will save. A lot of times we're like, get in the car, what are you doing? Like, you can't do that. And I will be the first one there. Like that kind of courage and bravery would have not, like, I couldn't have been born with that. I was literally born with the opposite, but it was the series of events that like took me on this journey called life that made me and created me this way. And if you actually want to learn more on how I like navigated this, how I actually took, my bullying or just different effed up situations in my life and actually turned them into my superhero power, I have a super powerful masterclass called Triggered. And it's all about shadow work. This is where we dive deep into those dark parts about ourselves that we think are actually bad, think that everything bad happened for us, but it's actually all happened to us. It happened to empower us. So I have a masterclass called Triggered. And Triggered is a masterclass that teaches you how to use your triggers, all the effed up shit that you went through in your life, all of the things that make you mad and angry. Okay, so it's how to use your triggers as one of your most powerful tools to transform, elevate, and become a power-driven force that's unfucking stoppable. That's what I've done, and I've actually mastered this. And anytime, if you've ever watched me for the last decade or even more, even if you've known me my entire effing life, and you're like, how does she do it? How does she have so much confidence? How is she so independent? How is she such a boss babe? How is she so powerful, opinionated, and not scared to show up, to say whatever the heck she wants? Like, how does she do it? I want you to know this. I was not born that way. Everything that you see, I was born with the complete opposite, and I became those things because I chose it. I used all the horrible things that have happened to me, instead of letting it like disempower me, take over me, destroy my life, destroy everything. I've used those tragic, traumatizing situations in my life, the things that made me the most angry, and I use them as a superhero power force to be like one of the most powerfulest people you'll probably ever encounter in your life. So if you want to know how to like tap into that, how to do that yourself, how to use those things that literally trigger you, that drive you effing crazy, the things that you wish you can do, the things that you wish you could say, the ways that you wish you weren't traumatized, the things that upset you, all the things, and use them as your most powerfulest tool, literally become a freaking superhero with those crazy things. Triggered the masterclass is where it's at. And you always get lifetime access to all of my masterclasses and all of my programs. So just as an FYI, it's a 2-hour masterclass and the vibe is like powerful as fuck. Like that's like you'll walk away from Triggered feeling so fucking fired up and powerful and like you're a superhero that can do anything, be anything, become anything, do anything, achieve anything. Like if you want some fucking fire up your ass, you join fucking Triggered and you watch that shit. And if you need to, you watch it again and again and as many times as you need to become it. Like it's such a powerful masterclass and I'm obsessed with it. And the feedback on that was just so amazing. But anyways, let's get back to what we were talking about. For example, like the amount of bullying and just hate that I got from a very, very, very young age. First of all, if I didn't go through that level of bullying and hate, like from my parents and their friends, like I wouldn't, like now when people try to like bully me or talk shit about me, like on the internet, like I've for years, like I laugh. I think it's funny. I don't take it personal. Do you get what I'm saying? But maybe, not maybe, I know it. If I didn't go through those things as a kid, and actually understand, like, why do people even do that? Which a lot of times is a reflection of their own insecurities. But I, as an adult, might have taken all these things really personally and cried and probably ended my career when I was told to do that a million different times by people who try to bully me on the internet, right? Or, you know, the fact that I was bullied and not liked and misunderstood for so many years and punished and, like, I want to say, like, tortured in certain timelines of my life, but bullied to the point where I was like pushed and shoved and hit and like really crazy shit until I got like crazy, until I was like, no one is gonna fuck with me. I will fucking kill you. That was like the vibe in high school. That was like when we had enough. Everyone was scared of me. But no, I did not become the bully. I became like the rescuer for everyone. But because I got bullied, I got to a place where I all of a sudden became popular. And then when I saw bullying happening to like innocent people, like my eyes and my soul could just not take it. And I had to get involved. I had to protect. I had to save the people that didn't have a voice. Once I found my voice, I used it to protect. There's so many like movie scene scenarios in my head that happened like throughout middle school and high school where I just stood up for people, for like the nerds, for like the kids. I became the popular girl. Okay, so that was like the dream, be the popular girl. Towards the end of 7th grade to 8th grade, 8th grade, I was totally popular. So now I was one of them, right? Kind of, but not really. I was always in my own like weird unicorn category. Like I belonged to no one and nothing. And I fit into everything, but nothing at the same time. That was always like my characteristic. In 8th grade specifically, that was like the first time in my life where I really stood up for this girl named Vanessa, who was actually a friend of mine when no one wanted to be my friend, when I wasn't cool, when I didn't have cool clothes. I think it was like in the beginning of 7th grade. She was like a friend of mine. And then we changed classes. I outgrew. I changed to a different group, whatever. Then 8th grade, I become popular. You know, we get out of one of the classrooms. I believe it was math. And the popular kids start throwing shit at her. And this girl used to be my friend. Like, we used to do sleepovers. She's such a sweet freaking girl. And they were throwing things at her and pushing her. And for a split second in the beginning, I laughed. And then I looked at that and I was like, oh my God, that used to be me. Oh my God, that's my friend. Like, that girl was my friend. She was actually like my real friend. And I said no. And like, I don't know anybody who had this fucking kind of level of courage at 8th grade. And I just like said, no, stop, don't touch her. Like, I will kill you if you lay a hand on her. Leave her alone. And everyone just like, I'm talking about like literally it's movie scene vibes. Everyone looked at me like I'm effing crazy. How dare you? What are you doing? Like everyone's just stuck, like shocked, stunned, stood, looked at me. I couldn't even believe what came out of my mouth. I was like, oh my God, this is what I wanted my whole life. And what is happening? But I couldn't see that level of injustice. This went on for like a half a mile when they were throwing things at her and I was telling them to stop. And I like literally got in their face. I've never gone into anybody's face at this point. And I literally protected her like with my arm. And then they were like, who the hell is this girl? AKA me. And they like didn't even know what category to put me in. And I decided in that moment in time that like, if that's what popular means, then F that. I'm just going to be my own thing. I have no idea how we got into this conversation. I do know, but it's just and like then afterwards in high school, I was a very controversial person because of this incident. And I kept doing that. I kept protecting the people that did not have a voice. And then I just kind of became the protector, the savior, the underdog. Like people didn't even know who I was and what I was, but everyone knew who I was. That was the thing in high school. I started to become a brand name and everyone just said Kim Cohen. Did you hear what Kim Cohen did? Do you know Kim Cohen? I hate Kim Cohen. But it's like, it's really funny, but it's like, had I not gone through like this bullying phase in my life and like the level of sadness and like heartbroken and like disappointment and just humiliation and embarrassment, if had I not gone through that, I would not have had that level of passion to like save the innocents, save the people that can't speak up for themselves. And I've never changed since that day. And FYI, I've only become more and more protective. And now I do it on massive scales. And I taught my sisters to do that from a very young age, to never be the bully. And if you see a bully, to always protect. But it came from that level of pain that made me who I am, because it gave me a deeper purpose into becoming her, into having that. Like, had I not, do you get what I'm saying? Like, had I not gone through that bullying madness for so many years, I wouldn't have been that passionate to save and protect. It wouldn't have triggered something so deep inside of my soul that was like dying, that it bursted out of my mouth. Like I had to save this girl. And like I said, I kept doing it through the years and it kept getting very interesting. But I feel like a lot of like, so when you look back at who I was, the girl who forgot how to speak and the girl who hated her voice and the girl who was super introverted and all the things, into who I am today, which is super outspoken, loud, sometimes aggressive, opinionated as fudge, will get in your face sometimes for justice, for like, not just because I'm freaking bored, but like for the things that actually matter. I will put myself in the spotlight. I don't care like if it's embarrassing or I sound stupid. Like I don't care, because I have a bigger purpose and a bigger mission. That characteristics could have never been built had I not gone through what I've gone through. And if you look at your life, if you start looking at your life, first of all, in these types of goggle visions, your life and your history and just life would look very different. And you'll actually realize like just how beautiful life is and how magical it is and how magical you are. And God, I have so much to say on that, but that's really how like strong characteristics are built. And so while I'm gonna go back to the original point of hearing that girl and wanting to change my voice and all the things, you know, I'm thinking I already can see like where this podcast is going to go and how, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but I just know what I'm good at. And I'm not just good at it for no reason. Like God in the universe, my guides on the other side, my ancestors, my grandparents, everyone on the other side that's rooting for me in this life, they set it up this way. I set it up this way. My soul had set it up this way. My higher self, before I even, you know, reincarnated into this life, into this body as Hofit Kim Cohen Meyers, even before I came here, like we all set it up this way. And the point is, it's like my voice needs to be this way. My voice actually always needed to be this way. I was never meant to be this like sweet, angel, soft spoken girl, even though I do sound like that in Hebrew. I sound more like that in Hebrew, but my life but my life was always meant to be here in America. I moved here when I was 8. I've lived here for 31 years. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, my life was set up this way for me. It's not even like my life beyond like the soul contract and all those things that like we all have. We all have soul contracts and a guide and our ancestors and God and the universe all rooting for us. It's also like, it's all the experiences that you were given to make you who you are in this very exact moment and timeline. I was never meant to be soft. I was meant to be the voice of reason, to stand up for justice, to inspire, to teach. Like, I know what I'm good at. And it's like, that was all by design, not by my design, by a bigger, like, it was all through the life experiences, the hardship, the heartbreak, the hardcore lessons that I had to learn, good and bad, FYI. I don't know why I'm talking just bad, but like also good. All the lessons that I had to go through, you know, gave me this knowledge, gave me this knowing, gave me this voice, gave me this reason, gave me this level of vulnerability. And I could just never strive to ever want to be anybody else but me. And I feel like so many people miss that point about themselves. And I'm here to tell you that and remind you that no one else, and this is the thing, a lot of the reason why I've been successful throughout my life and almost everything that I've ever done, and vast majority of things that have nothing to do with one another, okay, is because in my adulthood, I don't compare myself to other people because I know that like I have a different goal, I have a different dream, I have a different mission, I have different personality traits, I have different looks, I have different attributes. Like, I am me and everyone's themselves and everyone's going on a different path and everyone has different goals and everyone has different missions that they're supposed to do on here. And there's no reason to ever compare yourself to somebody else because you're not meant to be them and they're not meant to be you. And if you just like stuck to your own purpose and your own vision and your own gifts and your own dreams, your life would be so motherfucking beautiful. I mean it. I mean it. And so for that moment, I had this moment where I'm like, wow, her voice is so beautiful and gentle. Like, wouldn't it be nice to have that kind of a gentle soul and talk about the crazy shit that she was talking about? And I'm like, yeah, but like, that's not meant for you. Doesn't mean it's never going to be meant for you, but it's just not meant for you right now. And at this point, although I know that you're always evolving and you're always growing, and I'm obsessed with always growing and evolving, but it's like, that's not for me now. And at this age and stage of my life, I really, 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 really know who I am. The older I get, the vision is more clear and more clear. And that's just what it is. I feel like if you're paying attention and if you're like one of these woke souls, if you're like a starseed, an indigo, you feel like you're not from around here, you feel like you don't fit in. Like, if you're like one of these people, that's one of these people, you're probably paying more attention than most people. And I'm talking to you. Because, it's like the older I get, the vision, like, I get clearer and clearer on exactly what I'm supposed to do here and how I'm supposed to make change here and the types of conversations I'm supposed to have and the ways that I'm supposed to help people. And while it might be nice to have that voice, and sometimes with other people, they might want someone else's looks or somebody else's lives, like, no in the best way possible. Like, love your beautiful face, your amazing body, love your freaking personality that's curated and customized and so unique and magical and amazing with its flaws. Love it, laugh at it, love your gifts, and also love your flaws. And also know that you're on your own journey, girl, boy, whoever is listening to this, you're on your own freaking journey. You have your own thing going for you. I've had people in my life say, wow, I wish I could talk like you. Like, I wish I can say like I wish I can be that opinionated. I wish I can say what's on my mind. I wish I can like speak up for myself. I wish I can stand up for myself the way that you do. And like, maybe that is part of your journey. Maybe your journey is to like, to those people, right? Like, to watch me and learn from me and like become it. And maybe like, while that's great for Kim Cohen, it's not meant for you. And that's not good or bad. It just is, right? Because there are other things that you have that I don't have. And yeah, it's like when I was listening to her podcast and I was listening to the topic that she's talking about, I'm like, that is so effing cool and amazing. I would love to talk about that. I would love to hang out with people that just talk about that. But like, all of my life experiences for almost 40 years, like, they led me to be someone else on this planet, if that makes sense. As much as I would love to talk about those topics. And I might in a couple of years, but not right now. But like, I just see how the universe curated and created me versus her in our own beautiful ways. We're both spiritual people, beautiful souls, all the things, but it's just different. And I love it. And I accept it because I accept it. I volunteered as tribute. I volunteered as tribute to come here to planet Earth. Again, if you're a starseed, if you're an indigo, if you're one of these souls that, you know, never felt like they fit into anything, into their family dynamic. They just always, even in groups of friends or in just organizations or in jobs, they always feel like, I don't belong. You know what I'm talking about. You're an indigo and you're a starseed and you're not from around here. Yeah, you're just like from a different soul tribe. Yeah, I don't know. I have so many thoughts and I'm sharing them as I go along. But really, like, I feel like one of my greatest gifts is like, it's like, I'm really good, like we talked about in the first episode, like I'm really good at seeing people's potential and seeing what people don't see in themselves, the good, the magical, where they can go, what they can become. Like, I fucking see that. And then I have this side of me that's like, I want it so bad for them. Sometimes it like makes me mad at how much I want it for them. I want it for them sometimes more than they want it for themselves. But another thing that I'm really good at is like being straightforward and giving people my honest opinion on like why they're not where they need to be. It's not always a lot of times it's tough love. I know which version of me I need to be for a certain personality type to actually get the message through. When people that are softer, I speak to them softly. When people that are more aggressive, I speak to them more aggressively. Like, I know I know the vibrational match that I need to be in order to get the message across to that person. But I am, I'm very loud, very opinionated, and I'm very intense, and I'm very in your face sometimes. And while a lot of people might not like that at times, it's what they need. And I like know that the universe made me that way because I know how many people's lives I've impacted and saved and woke the fuck up and completely transformed so many people's lives with my approach and my way of being. And it's like, but I couldn't be that way had I not been created this way, had my life experience have not been this way, had my voice had not been mine. Because your voice at the end of the day it's just a vibration. Your voice is a vibrational frequency. Funny story, on topic, off topic. I love Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's one of my mentors. Love him. And I think in a different episode, I said that I've followed him since 2017, but I love accuracy, and it was 2018. And I actually love Dr. Dispenza's speaking voice. Love his speaking voice. There's something about it. I can't explain it. It's a vibe. It relaxes me. Like, I get it. Like, I'm on the same vibration. However, one of the most wildest, freakiest experiences is if you ever buy Dr. Joe Dispenza's like meditations. Oh my God. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, go find out. Or don't. He is so intense. It's actually effing scary. Like, and I I'm literally covering my face and my eyeballs. Like, I'm just like, I don't even know what to say about this, but he's so fucking intense that it's scary. He's doing these it's not meant to be scary, and I'm sorry, but to me, I was like, wait, what? Like, how is that the same freaking person? Um, he does these like high vibrational meditations that take you to different dimensions. And he does these and he speaks in a certain way to raise your vibration and to put you in certain um brain waves. Oh my God, but it's just so wild. It's so wild how you can also change your voice. But at the end of the day, he's raising people's vibrations through himself doing that. But at the end of the day, like, your voice is your vibration. It's your code. Yeah. And you shouldn't ever want to be anybody else but yourself. But I guess I just wanted to sit here tonight and just kind of give you guys like my thoughts on wanting to be somebody else, or wanting to have something that somebody else has, or not being satisfied or happy with what you were given or you got. Um, I understand it. I get it. I get it from the broken younger version of myself that just couldn't understand like why I was given this like intense ass voice. um, you know, and I also see it now and like, more of that was like my younger self, and this version of myself, I look at it from like a higher perspective, from my higher self. Like, I'm like, I have so much compassion and love for that insecure girl who hated her voice, who thought that her voice like was so aggressive and manly and just gross and ugly. Like, I love that girl. I'm so sorry, girl. But like, the healing part of this is like, I wish I could tell her. I wish I can tell her that one day, girl, you think that your voice is so like aggressive and loud and like weird and like, I don't know, just you sound weird and you have a weird accent. Like, I wish I could tell the younger version of myself, and I am telling her here and now, which is actually a very healing exercise that you should try. But I'm here to tell her that one day you won't have that accent, okay? And one day you will use that voice to influence and help people and humanity for the better, with your voice and with your courage and with all those things that you went through that felt like tortures at certain timelines. Those were the things that had to happen in order to make you who you are today. Without those, situations, you wouldn't have been able to impact like literally thousands of people all over the world for over a decade, publicly. And I love that little girl, but I wish I could tell her that one day when you get older, that voice that you don't like, that's going to help a lot of people. Like, in so many different ways, in so many different fields. Like, whether it's inspiring people to make their dreams come true and travel the world solo, or just explore different countries or meet people in foreign countries, or save humanity or save the animals, or all of it, just all of it, I wish I can tell her that, like, girl, don't worry. You're going to love that voice one day, because that voice is going to help so many people, and that's what you were sent out here to do. Do you get it? Do you feel that? It's really beautiful. It makes me want to cry because I can literally picture that little girl, and her best friend at the time that was not her good friend, pretended to be her good friend, but at her best friend's house, and this best friend was so beautiful and soft-spoken, and I just wished that I was her at the time, and how much I really didn't love my voice, and it's crazy. It's crazy, but I wish I can tell her, and I am here telling her and healing my own, I don't know, healing my own inner child and all of it. And I think that's a very powerful exercise to do, is always looking back at your younger self And if you ever wish that there was something you can tell that younger version of yourself, I promise you, this is one of the most healingest exercises of your life. You can do this in so many different categories, and sometimes you do it and it'll make you cry, which is like the best type of healing because it really like cracks you from the inside. But if you ever feel like, wow, I wish I could have told her, because you should always have compassion for your younger self. You got to have compassion for that younger version of yourself. You could always go back and tell her or tell him like what you wish he would have known at the time or she would have known at the time. And it's such a beautiful, empowering feeling. And with that, I want to wrap up this podcast episode and just to let you know that you're beautiful the way that you are. Don't compare yourself. There's so much beauty and greatness. You are on your own life journey and your life path. And just focus your energy there. It's a waste of time and a waste of energy to focus your time wishing that you were somebody else. Because guess what, baby? You're never going to be them. So just enjoy being you. Love you. You are your own best friend, always and forever. And I love you. And I'll see you guys on the next episode.